Hey guys, so continuing on with the Q&A series, I'm going to go ahead and answer another question that I had for today, and it's actually a really good one. So the question was, how should I shop if I'm looking to buy more healthy foods? So right there, it kind of gets a little bit loaded because to me, I guess healthy has a couple different definitions, right? And it has a lot of different definitions in like the fitness space. That could be, a low calorie food to some is considered, healthy. A high protein option is considered healthy. Basically, the term healthy, it gets thrown around a lot, right? For things that could or couldn't be. And unhealthy gets thrown around for a lot of things that could or couldn't be. So I mean, at the end of the day, you have to enjoy the diet that you're on, right? Like, it's going to be a lifestyle thing. It's the biggest factor in your nutritional health, right? So you have to enjoy it. So, would I say, let's cut out all of the fun stuff that you enjoy? No. But I mean, obviously, understand, like, limits and like what's serving you and what's not, at that time, like what's benefiting you. So an easy rule of thumb that I've found is, and it's, maybe you've heard it, maybe not, if you kind of shop the perimeter first of the grocery store, out along the outside is normally going to be like your fruits, your vegetables, meats, mostly, if not all, like unprocessed things. And so, what I mean by unprocessed, because obviously there's a process to everything, there's packaging, this and that. Unprocessed would mean to me that it hasn't been turned into something that it wasn't already, right? Like, so a great example is like potato chips and potatoes, right? And so the gravity there lies in, obviously the potato chip is processed, the potato is unprocessed for the most part. And the way I view it is this: if you were to sit on your couch in front of the TV or whatever, you were to go watch Netflix or something, could you eat 10 plain boiled, just baked potatoes, boiled, baked, whatever, just plain potatoes, right? No salt, no butter, no nothing. Could you eat like 10 of those? Right. So the answer is probably no. You're probably not going to do that. You might not even get through two, right? You might get through one. Um, but now let's flip that. Could you eat an entire bag of like Lay's potato chips? Probably, right? Like, I've done it, we've all done it. You can probably do it, right? It's doable. It's much easier, right? So therein lies kind of the issue. No, I'm not saying that, for the fact checkers, that there is 100% 10 potatoes in a bag of Lay's potato chips. But the fact of the matter is, there's more than one potato in a bag of Lay's potato chips. Like, they've taken several potatoes, chopped them up, fried them up, covered them in salt, and boom, now we have a bag of potato chips, and it's tasty and it's super easy to eat. It's really palatable. It makes you want more, right? So, to me, that is kind of the difference in the gravity that going processed versus unprocessed goes. And it's a really easy analogy to think about. So, rather than go for something that's in like a box or that comes in a can or something like that, that's been messed with, that is obviously something different than what it was at the beginning. Like, it's no longer just an apple, it's like applesauce. It's no longer and I'm not saying that like things like that can't be healthy or can't be helpful, but you have to look at it as it's very difficult to overeat on majorly unprocessed foods, is kind of the gist of what I'm getting at here. It's very, very difficult to eat too many, like, apples, too much, ground beef, too much chicken, too much like it gets really difficult. What makes it easier is when we start throwing in, all these other things like maybe these sauces that have a buttload of different calories in them, and then maybe some other ingredients, some pastas that have been like made that are like really calorie dense that maybe we didn't realize that they were super calorie dense, or maybe like a box of rice where it's like you can make flavorful and like tasty options and it doesn't have to come from a box, right? Like you can get in there and make something that's going to be a little bit healthier. And the fun thing is, it's like I personally enjoy cooking. I've always loved cooking, and you kind of get to mess around with it and make it yours a little bit. Whereas like it comes out of a box, it's like yeah, it's probably gonna taste good because they designed it that way. But I mean, it's easier to a point, but like what's more worth it to you at the end of the day? I guess is it something that's easy? Because I know sometimes you just want something that's easy, and that's okay some of the time. But when you're kind of in control and you can, put something on your plate that's gonna like fulfill you and nourish you a little bit better, and that's not necessarily gonna be detrimental to your health. I mean, just kind of watch the effects of what happens. I mean, you start eating that way, and all of a sudden you've got better energy throughout the day. You are maybe noticing the waistline starting to go down. You're making healthier choices, because a big thing with health, there's a lot of psychology behind it. If you identify as I'm healthy, right? Like if you tell yourself, oh, I'm healthy, I go to the gym, I eat healthy, you're probably going to start making healthier decisions just kind of because you're sitting there saying to yourself, oh, well, I'm healthy. And just that there could be enough to like prompt you to like maybe change up the diet a little bit. So this isn't even necessarily dieting. This is just eating intuitively and like eating things that you should be eating. No longer just kind of like eating garbage foods that like they've put out there. They know they taste good. They designed them to taste good. Like, cookies, Oreos, Oreos used to be one of my favorites, and now I don't think I've had one in quite some time, just because I know if I eat one, I'm going to eat, a billion, because it's just how it is. So it's just like having that kind of discipline more than less to just go like, yeah, like I don't really need that. And it kind of just puts you in a better like frame of mind, and it makes dieting a whole lot easier, because then it's no longer really a diet, and it's not. At the end of the day, it's just eating less processed junk, because it's not going to serve you. And although it might be easier, I would stand to reason that the time you save there maybe is not some time that you're going to get back later down the line, because you weren't eating like the best, right? It's like now you don't have to work out so much in the gym because you're eating better, or now it's like later on in life you're in a better shape, in a better place, so it's like you can move a little bit better, so now you don't have that time taken away from you. So it's like you're saving that time, but it's coming back around somewhere else, which is kind of scary to think about, but it's kind of true. So it's not necessarily like a scary message, but it's like you can make choices, and it's a lot easier than I think people think. And then obviously there's kind of a second side to this, to the whole, what are some ways to shop to eat healthy? Just because something says it's organic, says it's healthy, says it's gluten-free, the buzzwords that they throw out there on the labels, they know that. They know that people love to eat healthy or shop healthy or look right. So they're going to slap these buzzwords on things that's going to make you go, oh, well, that's the healthier option. And it's probably not. Like, it's maybe marginally healthier, right? And that oftentimes is where the whole, oh, it's too expensive to eat healthy comes from, because those products are marked up ridiculous, right? Like you go shop the organic aisle, you're gonna be looking at like, oh, okay, geez, that's like, what is that, $10 for like a little thing this big of like, no, that's ridiculous. So they mark things up ridiculously because of the label, because they can, because they like to target, oh well, this is for, the healthy people. This is, things like that. So don't necessarily buy into the label where it says organic or this or that. If you like that stuff, that's perfectly fine, but it's not all that much better than if you were to just go like the unprocessed route. It doesn't get much healthier than like real food, right? Um, so yeah, then there's some cheaper options that way, and honestly, yeah, you just find better bargains and deals that way. So, kind of just to wrap it all up at the end, your better options for like eating healthy would be kind of shop around the perimeter, look for the things that have minimal ingredients, right? Like it tells you exactly what it is and you can see what it is, right? It's like on the label. It's like this is chicken, this is an apple, this is, right? Make those the bulk of what you're eating, right? Like take those, make those about 80% of what you're eating. Still hold some room for the fun things, right? Because like you don't want to be like miserable. If you want to have a cookie every now and then, like by all means. If you want to have a pizza every now and then, by all means. Like don't feel like guilty for doing something like that. Like those are normal things that people eat, right? Like we eat those. We made it for a reason. Like there are people that are gonna go like, oh no, there's no excuse. That's garbage. Don't eat that stuff. Like you're not going to go to your friend's birthday party and just be like, hey, yeah, thanks for inviting me, but I'm not going to have any of your cake and I'm not going to have any of this because it doesn't, whatever. They're just going to be like, okay, that guy's not invited next time. That wasn't very fun, right? Like eating has so many other things tied to it. Like it's also a social experience. It's, all these other things that I think diet culture loses a lot of like side of because they're just like, oh yeah, no, you just have to diet it away. It's like, it's not that easy. And so, yeah, it's easy to make the bulk of what you're eating healthy and to make healthy choices and to decide, what is or isn't serving you. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's like you're a human being. Like, live your life a little bit. Don't totally hate what you're doing. And as long as it's not obviously ridiculously detrimental to you, like, there's no giant issue there. So yeah, like I said, these are getting to get some really good questions out. So keep those coming, and if you guys are liking the content, go ahead and just like let me know. You can subscribe to us so you get a little bit of a notification every time, and you can turn on notifications, I guess, so that you know when I post something. I'm probably gonna try to do at least one a day for a while here, or at least for a little bit. So have a great rest of the day, guys.